Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bobcat Tracks. Once again, I am not Jake Hermata. I am Mike Schulze, and we are back after a 2-week hiatus. Luke Steiner here, and our guest host, Michael Stevens, my boss. Thanks for coming on.
You bet. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. Thanks for being the guest host. We were giving you responsibilities now, and you're not just the guest.
It's exciting.
So we're going to have Frank Solich on. You know who that is. We don't need to introduce him. We're dedicating our field to Frank Solich. Before Frank gets here, what do you think that means to him?
It means a lot to him, mostly because of all the people that have been involved in getting him there. He's very much a person that's not pointing at himself. He's talking about others and his coaches and his student athletes, and she's just 15, 16 years of here at Ohio of a team effort. And so I think it means a lot to him because of that team behind him, and he's very proud of it because of that. Yeah,
and speaking of football, we haven't talked about Ohio football for a little while in the last couple of weeks since the Fordham game. We lost to Kent State 31-24 in overtime. Yeah, it was tough. Overtime game, really good. And then we got 2 MAC wins, and we scored a lot of points in the past few weeks.
Yeah, offensively we're really clicking on at a high level, and it's fun football to watch, right? I mean, we're just really an exciting team. We have exceptional student athletes, and hopefully we can keep that going.
Yeah, I'm pulling up Curtis's passing numbers here right now. This year, he's
they're funny numbers, man.
It's video game.
Yeah.
14 touchdowns, 2,200 yards, 70% completion rate.
Are you that good on video games?
No.
I know for a fact I'm not.
Yeah. 315 yards a game.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And the thing is, we run the ball decently too. That's the great thing about our offense, right? I mean, you have numbers like that, and yet we still have a running game that I put up against a few other teams in the league.
Yeah, Banguro's averaging 4.5 yards a touch. I mean, he has 433 yards this year. He's not played in every game either.
Right.
And then Nolan McCormick, is averaging 4 yards a touch. I mean, it's the offense is just clicking on all numbers, and then the defense really showed up at Western Michigan. Got forced 5 turnovers, and really played well.
Yeah, we controlled the line at Western, right? Our defensive line, really, on both sides, we controlled the line of scrimmage, which often leads to wins. And especially on defense, though, we put pressure on that young quarterback a lot, and our defensive backs, made the right reads when they broke. I think there was only one play where we got a guy behind us, and they scored on that. But other than that, all game long, we made good decisions. And what did you just say, 5 interceptions?
5 turnovers,
5
right?
turnovers.
It was 5 interceptions.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah, that's
Math
is tough.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not good at that.
Yep.
No, we're not. That's why we work here.
That's why we're not in
athletics.
finance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Soccer, big win last night, 4-1. You want to talk about that goal a little bit from Reagan?
Yeah, so Reaganberg, I want to say it was the second goal of the game because it was 1-1. Had a goal where she was outside the 18, just took 2 touches and just scored. Like it was undefendable.
Yeah.
It was just over the goalie's head. Goalie jumped and everything right underneath the
little perfect
crossbar.
arc.
Yeah, it was one of those that you just literally could not have done anything to.
Yeah, it was unbelievable to watch. She had another goal in the 84th minute to make it 4-1, and she also assisted on our 3rd goal. So probably player of the week.
She's player of the week, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Aaron Rodgers talking to us in the hallway saying that she is the most talented player on the team.
Yeah. Man, she's good. And then Ohio Volleyball had a rare midweek game, little midweek action. They were at Kent State. They won in 5 sets, 3-2. It's always good to get that win at that bizarre midweek game.
One,
so they have to play 3 matches this week, which is tough, but it's a good start to the week.
Especially in their set 5, 15-6.
Yeah, dominated the 5th set. Caitlin O'Farrell led the way. She had 13 kills. Olivia Margulies had 16 kills. O'Farrell added a couple blocks, and it was pretty good in that day. Anything else you want to talk about? You want to talk about this weekend a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So Frank Solich dedication, we talked about it a little bit more, but, Michael, you want to go through what we have at football tomorrow?
Yeah, we can start from the beginning. It's senior day, too.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
It's senior day. So, we've moved senior day up. Traditionally here, we have had senior day on the last home game of the season. Last year, I think maybe the 3 of us and others were standing down there last year and said, it was cold and there weren't too many people there. And we said, why don't we do this on a Saturday? And we all nodded our heads, and we actually got it done. And we moved it up to the last Saturday game. And so there'll be more people in the building to really show their appreciation for these seniors. But, yeah, so that's before the game. Senior Day, get in your seats by 20 minutes before the game is when we'll start Senior Day activities. We got Steve Swisher coming. I think we're going to talk about that a little bit as well, but he'll be in town. We're honoring him, and then we'll over at Bob Rim, but also then at the football game at the quarter break, and then we'll do the field dedication at halftime. So Coach Solich, Julie, Nico, and several of the donors that were part of that will be down on the field to formally dedicate it as Frank Solich Field forever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There you go.
That's exciting.
That's a big game.
Yeah, a lot going on. We also have another Senior Day coming up too. Sunday is soccer Senior Day, which is also not their last game of the year. So I like this change.
Yeah.
It's good.
Aaron Rodgers might have been the on the forefront of that.
Because you truly don't know what the weather's going to be like,
correct.
especially a midweek football game.
Yeah.
And the last home game of soccer could be snowing. Like who knows?
Right. And you want to make sure it's on Saturday or on a weekend to get your parents
so
there. And it's really awesome. So we have volleyball on the road this weekend as well at Akron. Field hockey's at Indiana. Soccer, that Senior Day game is against Western Michigan, 1 p.m. on Sunday, so be at that. Steve Swisher, talk about that at 10 o'clock at Bob Wren Stadium. We are honoring Steve Swisher's number 3. He's number 3, right?
Yep. Number 3.
Number 3, not 25. Number 3. Before the game, Steve will be there. His family will be there. Joe Carbone is going to speak. His teammates will be there. It's open to the public. It's an awesome event to come see. It's one of the greatest few years in Ohio baseball history.
Yeah, so he was
in Ohio athletics history.
He
really,
was a freshman on the World Series team, and then they won 2 MAC championships. And I don't remember if it was 71 and 73 or 72 and 73.
Yeah.
But he was here from 70 to 73.
Yeah, they had some great success during that stretch, and then really what he did afterwards too, right? I mean, making it to the big leagues, and then his managerial career.
Right. He was an MLB All-Star.
MLB All-Star.
With the Cubs.
Yes, and he had a long major league career. His son Nick had a long major league career. That's a baseball family.
Yes. He was a young debut too. He debuted at 22.
Oh wow,
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, especially spending 4 years at school.
Right. Yeah. Come out of high school and you're in the minors for a couple of years. You might come out of that, but straight from college is rare.
Yep.
So he played. I mean,
he debuted the year after he got drafted. He debuted in 74. 74 to 80, what would that be, 81, 82?
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cubs, Cardinals, Padres.
So he was playing at a major league level here in Athens.
Yeah.
Right.
Very likely. Very likely.
We're very close to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So without further ado, let's go to the Frank Solich interview.
Let's do it.
Needs no introduction. Frank Solich, welcome to the Bobcat Tracks.
Thank you. It's good to be here, fellas. Appreciate the invitation.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
So, Coach, Frank Solich, field dedication tomorrow. What's that mean to you? To have the field named after you.
Yeah, that's special, and a lot of people put a lot of time and effort into making that work, and certainly appreciate what they've been all about in doing that. I'm usually a guy that's not too much along those lines as far as patting myself or anybody else on the back, but certainly a great gesture, and I really feel good about it, and I appreciate everybody that did all the work.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, well deserved. But like you said, it's about all the people that come with you, right? The coaches and players and everybody along the way.
Yeah, no question. And there's a ton of them. When you spend 15 or so years at a place, you're gonna come across a lot of people. And I was fortunate to be really surrounded by good coaches, and if you're going to have a good career in the business, and if you're a head coach, you better have good coaches with you, and we were fortunate to have that all the way through, and some of the coaches stayed the whole time. Tim stayed certainly with me the whole time, and now he's taken over, and always following them and wishing them the best. But it's been good. I've appreciated what people have been all about here.
How special is it for you to see Tim take the reins of Ohio football?
Well, it's very special to me. We were at Nebraska together for a period of time, our whole time here. So 21 years of coaching together. when you're with someone that long in any kind of business, you kind of know what they're all about and how good they are at what they do. And I knew that he'd be really, really good at taking over this program and making sure that it produced the way he wants it to produce, and your AD wants it to produce, the president wants it to produce, the fans want it to be all about, you know. And so he, in my mind, you couldn't have found a better person to take over the job. And it's not easy, you know. Even though he was with me all those times, he's in a different role now, but he's handling it well.
Yeah, very good. I want to go back. I want to think of some of the top games, some of the fun videos that I've seen. I was not here back when you first got here, Coach, but I've seen all the videos of let's take Pittsburgh. You know, what do you think about when you're going into that game? You know, what's your thoughts on taking on Pittsburgh? You know, did you think you had a shot? Just tell me a little bit about leading up to that game, and then the feelings about after winning and
it being
making
a
statement.
First home game too.
Yeah, it's the first home game here. Is it sold out crowd and just a lot of activity? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, I took pride always in coaching, and when I played, I've never stepping on the football field without the feeling that I was going to win, or we were going to win if I was coaching. And you know, that was very much a part of that week in preparation. You know, I think our coaching staff felt good that we certainly had a shot at getting it done. I think our players felt good about the game. We knew it would be a packed house, you know, and we did not want to disappoint because, you know, a lot of people came out to see the game. It was going to be on TV, and so consequently, I think everybody decided that, hey, here's our shot at something special. Let's get it done, and you know, they did.
Yeah, that mentality of just stepping on the field and expecting to win is not what Ohio was, and not disrespect to the prior, but just that mentality of when you came that just changed everything at that point.
Yeah, it truly did, and it's something that we're forever grateful for. Did you know, going off that, was it a struggle to you know, how did you go about changing that perception and changing that culture early on when there were so many, you know, losing seasons before you got here?
Well, you know, when we got here, I knew I had the right staff. You know, we started to look at our players and what they were all about, started to get to know them some, and obviously practicing with them and in the spring. And you know, you get a little bit of a feeling about your team as you go through all that time. And my feeling was that you know, we could win football games. You know, just how many remain to be seen. But I felt good about the guys, and I felt good about what they wanted to get accomplished. You know, and I don't care if you're talking about athletes at Nebraska, you're talking about athletes at Alabama, you're talking about athletes at Ohio. They all want to win, and you know, and they all have a great deal of pride about them, and will do everything that they can to make it work. You as a coach just got to make sure that you're helping bring them along, and that they're seeing things the way you do, as far as the culture you want to establish there, and how you want to go about things, and then just get the belief. And belief is a big word to us. It always has been in this program. And when we first got here, you know, Matt Muncie's picture is up over there in the stadium, and it's got believe above it. And so that was intentional, you know. And the word belief is positioned different places, you know. You stand after the players get done showering, and they stand in front of the mirror and they're primming their hair. Guess who's behind them? The big Bobcat man. You know, and so we wanted them to start taking pride in the program and what they were all about, what their coaches were all about, and start to build a following and work at getting things done.
Do you have a favorite moment on what is now Frank Solich Field?
You know, I've been asked that question before, and not about it being on Frank Solich Field, but do I have special moments on the field and special games? And you know, that's there's so many special moments that I hate to really kind of define a few because you leave some out, and I don't want to do that because there were a lot of great times, a lot of great moments. You know, I appreciated my relationship with everybody that was involved in the program here, from the presidents on down, the ADs. You know, everybody that was in the supporting us in terms of support staff, the fans, you know, and I could tell that the community wanted to win football games. You know, they wanted to be successful. They wanted to take some pride in what the football program was all about, and so it was easy to sell our players on that. And once we got an early start on winning a few ball games, you know, recruiting became certainly a little easier too.
Right.
That's not answering your question. It was a pretty good way of sidestepping it, actually.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. You're pro. He's a pro.
Yeah. 50 years of coaching will do that, right?
Yeah.
Being
He's pro.
Being in front of the microphone. But yeah. So, you know, how about personalities and characters on your team? There's got to be. Are there any guys that along the way, not in a bad way, but just some guys that stand out because of their uniqueness in the locker room or things they brought to the team?
Again, I'm not going to name a lot.
I know it's tough because then you start naming here and there.
But Quentin Poling, you know, was a real leader for us and quite a character.
Yeah.
He still is today. When he comes back and he sees me, I almost start running because he grabs you, bear hugs you, and lifts you up in the air. You know.
I got one of those the other day as well.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to die. I didn't think he was going to let me down.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, he's a fierce competitor, and the players, you know, understood that what he was all about, and they followed his leadership. But we've had several other great leaders and guys with great personalities. You know, we recruited guys that we thought not only were really good football players, but would be good students here, and you know, their character was what you look for. And when you have that, you have a lot of good people then trying to move the program forward. You know. But when you talk about characters, Quentin, he's right up there.
I like it.
How much easier does your job get when you have a leader like Quentin who can help, you know, lead on the field?
Yeah, you can't do it without leadership, you know. And again, believing is so important. And if you can get coaches, you know, that believe in themselves and being able to develop leaders and a program. You know, they're going to be believing, and once you got the coaches believing, then it's a matter of starting to get the players to believe. You know, and that was not hard to do. You know, I think they felt like the makeup of our football team would be good, and that they would be able to actually put it all together and win football games. You know, and that they did. So proud of them on that. But you can't do it without leadership, you know, and we had it every year at Ohio that I've been there.
Yeah, and that leadership really is both on and off the field, right? You have to have guys that know how to handle themselves uptown. You have to have guys that know how to handle themselves on campus and in class, and you know, for your career, whether that be, you know, here or Nebraska, you've always seemed to recruit and then promote guys that are like that.
Yeah, you know, all of that reflects on a guy's leadership, you know. And if you're not doing things the right way, you're late coming to a meeting or two, you know, you're not giving everything you can in practice, you know, you're not trying to develop yourself in the weight room to your maximum, you know, that it's not gonna go, you know. And so a leader has to have all of that. And we had some special leaders to keep us going and to put us where we felt like we were always in the run for a MAC title.
Right. Yeah. You talked about you know, in the locker in the strength room. I think you have always put a priority on strength and conditioning that maybe separated us, in my view, from others in the MAC. Tell us just a little bit about your what that focus was like. You know, as far as your team being the toughest, strongest, biggest on the field in order to win the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you know, you can't be the smallest, weakest bunch of guys running around and expect that you're going to get it done. So obviously the weight room becomes very important to each individual that's in there and on the football team, and we work pretty hard at it. We've had, Dak was a great strength coach for us, Sonny before him, Jake now.
Yep.
We were fortunate to have those kind of people running the weight program, and our guys have gotten stronger. They've gotten bigger. They've gotten quicker where they those that needed to get quicker. One thing that you don't really necessarily get done in the weight room is, some people argue that though, is to develop toughness. And I think toughness in some ways can get done in the weight room by how hard you go at it and how long you go at it and how demanding you are of yourself. That's developing toughness. So I talked myself into really saying that you can develop toughness in
some of it's inherent probably
in the weight room. Some of it's inherent. So when we look at recruiting film, I don't want guys that can run 100 miles an hour and not have any toughnness about them, because at some point in time you're going to run into opponents that also run 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
And if you're not ready to go to battle, you're going to have some tough times in the game. And so we prided ourselves on the toughness aspect of it. We tried to recruit it, and we also tried to develop it once they were here on the field. We talked in terms of, attack through angles. When you're blocking or you're tackling, you don't come and dance and try to catch a guy. You attack through a guy. So attack through angles became a big word for us, and that doesn't matter who you're talking to, whether you're talking to an offensive lineman when he comes off the ball and attacks through someone and finishes off a play. You're talking to a running back who is pinned in and goes into contact and knows how to deliver a lift and get yards after contact. We're not skimping out of bounds or being soft going into the contact. And so a lot of terminology can help you in that regard. And then just the way you go about it can help your team become tough. But
I'm going to use that in my own self-talk now. I'm going to attack through angles on you.
Yes.
That's my leadership skill.
Yeah, we use it all. I used to use it all the time to, just with a player or a coach,
Yeah. Monday morning, I'm going to come into our meeting. I'm going to preach it. No, I love it.
Yeah. It's got to be a game of attacking, and you got to attack through a guy.
All right. I like it.
So I want to ask you about the Potato Bowl, the first Potato Bowl. You won 5 bowl games. That was your first bowl win at Ohio. Did you feel like there was a weight lifted off your shoulders to get Ohio their first bowl win in program history?
I don't think I look at it like a weightlifting being lifted off my shoulders. I never felt that pressure. We didn't get a MAC championship one. We played in 4 or 5 of them, and did get it done. I didn't put that pressure on me to get that done in that manner. I just always felt that, hey, I'm a good coach. I want to develop these players as best they can. I want to win. I want to win a MAC championship. I want to win this. I want to win that. But that's not the end line for me. The process of getting ready to go into battle is the thing that I love the most.
Can I ask you about what was going through your mind when the officials talked for what seemed like 45 minutes at the end of that game? LaVon Brazil, touchdown, no touchdown, fumble, but you recovered at the 1. What was going through your mind when it seemingly took forever to make that decision?
Yeah. Well, it was, let's get this done, but let's get it done right, because we figured we knew what was right, And LaVon really didn't look like he was going to be able to play in that game, but just before he came up and said, "Coach, I'm feeling actually good and like I can play," and he hadn't practiced basically all week, and normally I just don't say, okay, let's do it, but talk to the trainers, and they said, yeah, he's physically capable of doing it. It's a matter he hasn't done it for a while, and so I said, well, I looked at him and he looked at me, and I said, you ready to give it a shot?" And he said, "Yeah." So we played him, and of course he became a big factor, big factor in the game.
Yeah, that was a legendary drive and a legendary play. Couple plays.
Maybe that shows you how much practicing is done. You know, I'm not sure, but if you're the right athlete, you can miss a few and still get things done. I think. Yeah,
that's awesome. Do you have? I know we talked about your favorite moment. You know, what those bowl games? You know, did those stand out? That week-long experience with teams. How are those different for you than a normal game week?
Well, obviously, you have to be careful of how you prepare for a bowl game, because you could be pretty well shot before you step on the field for the game. You know, and we developed a way of practicing that seemed to make sense to us. That we were going to be fresh whenever the kickoff came. You know, so any heavy work we did while we were here on campus, you know, before we left. And then once we got there, you know, my feeling was, hey, you know, have some fun, fellas. You know, you've earned this.
Right.
There's nothing saying you can't have fun and win too. You know, we can get both of those done.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Just be cautious about having just way too much fun. You know, but
there's a threshold.
Yeah, there's a threshold, and they earned it.
Yeah.
You know, and so
that's true.
we made sure that, you know, that they had a chance to have some fun in how we practice and our hours that we had, that we regulated for them to have bed check and those kind of things. And it all seemed to make sense. I think our teams went into bowl games with a great attitude and ready to play when the kickoff came.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Frisco Bowl, and just, you know, it was a great week of activities, and the kids did have fun. Nobody got in trouble. We had some fun, and they came out and, you know, just played at a very high level.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, that night was one of the, I don't know, and I'm not a football coach, but one of the best football games that I've seen you play, dominating on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. That was a football team that knew how to prepare and did a great job of getting that win.
Yep.
You know, the Bahamas Bowl is another thing in preparing for when you got your team down in the Bahamas. You know? But we took the same approach.
Yeah.
And even though you know, they were out there swimming, and you know, say, hey, well, they're using all kind of energy swimming. Maybe we should get them out of the water, and you know.
They were swimming with dolphins, if I remember.
Yeah, that's
Q
that's,
was, I think.
Yeah.
I think Q maybe was.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Who was.
Yeah.
I think he was. So.
Yeah, and so you know, we just moved ahead with that thinking in terms of preparing for bowl games, and seems to work for us.
Yeah, you've had a lot of support here. Across the nation with the fans that have just, you know, enjoyed your career here, and I don't know, is there anything you want to say to the fans and the students? I think that you've often told me, you know, just been really pleased with the way our students here on campus have supported the team.
Yeah, you know, Ohio's really been a special place for me. You know, it has felt like home. You know, I've been here 15 years, obviously, and so got a lot of friends here. You know, so not only did it feel good to be here and coach the guys that I had under the staff that I had, you know, it was also a place where I developed a lot of friendships, you know, off the field.
Right.
And so it's got a special place for me in my heart, and I've enjoyed it. Love the fans and the community, and how much they supported us. The donors, you know, came through and helped us do some things with the stadium and obviously other facilities related to football, and so it's just been a good ride, and I appreciate what everybody's done.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's good.
Want to keep Coach you long?
Right
Yeah. Yeah, Coach, we're looking forward to tomorrow.
Okay.
We really are.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Congratulations. Yep.
Yes, congrats from all of us.
Yep.
And we appreciate you coming on. We
Yeah,
really do.
yeah, no problem.